Hello, welcome to the Late Breakers Club for the Riverside Racing version of the Dutch Grand Prix. We recently had the Raging Bulls Friday night version of this race, which went pretty well. I was a driver in that race in the Haas. You might have seen that on the YouTube channel. Many clips of me either spinning or crashing. We will be starting in about 3 minutes time, as we still have people to get into the lobby, as well as other things to sort out. So I'm just going to go onto my channel on the VOD. Also, the IMSA Daytona 24-hour just started about an hour ago, and LMP2 immediately had carnage. So that's good to see. Might try and update on IMSA during the race, depending on if I can or not. I'll get the race up just so that I can keep up, because I do love me a bit of IMSA. Well, sports car racing in general, to be honest, but IMSA's the one that's on now, which is why it's getting priority. Anyway, there we go. Got a couple minutes till it starts anyway, so I could probably get away with just clicking that and going. Oh no. How do I keep track of my tasks? There we go. Right, IMSA. What's happened? So we're on IMSA at the moment. We got Katzberg and Sims in the 3 and 4 Chevys in the lead in GTD Pro. We got Ward in the Mercedes ahead of the 2 Ferraris in GTD AM. Yeah, last time I saw before I stopped watching to do this, which took about half hour, I saw the Porsche was in the lead in GTP, and then PJ Hyatt was in the lead before pitting in LMP2. So I'll keep an eye on this race as well. Anyone going in VC? I'll go in VC for a bit. Yeah, no worries.
Doesn't have to be top 3. Then if you get too many people, then obviously you can just select who gets the interview.
Yeah, no worries on.
See who's got them spots.
here we go then. For the Late Breakers Club Riverside Racing version of the Dutch Grand Prix. So, if we have Jess X, or the person who won in the Aston Martin, if he's in here, then we'll be in for a massive bit of domination, I must say. So here we are then. There we go. Right, so just waiting for the fast cars to go on track. Remember, it's Zandvoort in reverse, so they'll be going up near the... They'll be going not the normal way, obviously. So, as we'll see, I think the Ferrari's about to come out on track. I can see mechanics moving. And I can also see a Williams mechanic in the back there. I'm not too sure if that's Andoni. I don't know if that's him or if that's his teammate. It is his teammate Swayzer, who was my teammate in the Raging Bulls race yesterday. As was nearly contact between the BMWs in IMSA and GTP. So I'll update you on the IMSA race as well as in this race as well. IMSA, I'll shout out the big moments, but I won't go into too much detail, unlike how I will in this race. So we have Andoni heading round. We have a couple of drivers from Slav Talk Racing here, such as the Silent Assassin and Arimas. We also have other drivers from yesterday's race in the Raging Bulls tier, such as Swayzer and Eagle, and there's a yellow flag for the McLaren, who's on the grass and doing some very questionable antics, weaving on the grass, not too sure why. We head into the first corner, the big banking, very unnerving corner to start the lap, and we head around turn 2 into turn 3. Then the stadium section, we see the Williams blast away from our camera here. I head down the straight then into what would be botch 10, and what is known as botch 10, but on the track the other way around. There's a McLaren round, and I think a Red Bull's just hit him. I just saw that on the map, and there it is, the Racing Bulls of Silent Assassin smashing into Erky Boy. Erky Boy was in the Raging Bulls race yesterday as well, but he has caused a crash with Silent Assassin. Not too sure what was going on there. There was a big shunt. There was also a shunt for one of the Saubers as well, I'm pretty sure. Sauber in third. We had a big slide there from Eagle in the Mercedes, but we're going to go back down to Swayzer to see if his lap has gone decent. Looks like it has, as he heads into the last corner on the track, Tarzan corner, as I think there's an off for one of the Mercedes as well. We just went, I saw there's chaos here. I must say so myself, is what's happened with the Mercedes there. Erky Boy's out of the session and he's crashed at Hugenholz. So the Hugenholz banking, Erky Boy retires. That is what a frantic quali this has been. But a 1:95 is the pole time currently by Waltz, who was pretty quick yesterday. As we have Jamie just slotting in to P4 here, and he's now P5 because Jones in the Toro Rosso V-Carb, 4 tenths away from Cardelf in the Ferrari. The Aston Martin at the top of the banking, and that Haas coming through with a lot of traffic. That's Reiser weaving his way through the traffic. We have a Williams going up into second. That will be Andoni, who heads around turn 1 after setting a 1:98. He's a whole second quicker than the V-Carb of Jones, and he's about 3 tenths off pole. It's a random yellow flag there, not too sure why. Nothing major happening in GTP. We've got a little battle brewing in IMSA in the 24-hour race between the 85 Porsche of JDC Miller, the privateer entry, who's trying to chase down the BMW in IMSA at the moment. That's in Daytona. Here at Zandvoort, we have not a lot of people on laps, I must say. We have Jamie, who was behind me for some of the race, and me reacting to his strategy was turned out to be a good one, as he pit for mediums near the end, and if he had a bit more pace, he would have been able to maybe challenge against Lando and Swayzer as well. He had a good race yesterday. Let's hope he can redeem himself today. We have Rise Up in P4, 10th behind Card Elf. He's 2/10 ahead of Jones here, but he is just under a second away from Waltz, as Silent Assassin retires from the session at the top of turn 7. There is an Aston Martin going around that section as we speak, and it is Waltz who just goes past him. We just missed the Stricken V-carb, sadly, as we have Card Elf coming out the pits. His teammate Arimas is about to do a lap, so we're going to ride on board with him. Also, just quick apologies for the camera settings. They have too much horizontal on them, and that's why you're seeing weird lines, such as on this Ferrari near the helmet. There is a weird line there, which is supposed to be the engine air intake thing, and it's kind of glitching inside of it. I'm not too sure if, I don't think you can reset them. I'll reset them after this session. As we have the Mercedes of Eagle triggering a yellow flag, probably due to no fault of its own. We'll stay with Arimas here, who heads round. Oh, he nearly goes off as he heads up the Sklevat corner, which is this corner here, which caught out a lot of drivers in the sprint, myself included. Caught me out in the sprint, it caught Silent Assassin out in the main race. Caught many drivers out as Eagle is out for the second qualifying in a row at this track on this weekend. Silent Assassin, no, Eagle should I say, is out of qualifying. He struggled in the race yesterday as well. Struggling with braking points, it looked like, as he caused as he was braking very early for certain corners, especially on one of the safety car restarts. He broke so early it nearly took me and another driver out. As the Ferrari of Arimas going 2/10 off the pole time set by Waltz. There's an Aston Martin who won yesterday. It looks like it'll be an Aston Martin at the front of the field again today. We have Card Elf, who is 2/10 up out of Sector 1. That could put him a bit closer to Andoni and a bit closer to his teammate as well. He's the quickest driver who hasn't gone under the 1 minute 10.1 region. So but he's looking to dip into the 1 minute 9 second region. We head through into the Hugenholz corner now. Dip into the bolt, and then climb out. Try not spin the wheels too much. Depending on your ride height, try not bottom out too much as well, as his teammate pits just in front of us. The Ferrari of Card Elf goes over the line and sets a 1 minute 10.4. He's 300th off his quickest time. Meanwhile, Andoni is on a lap as Other Whistle has retired. He's gone off just on the exit of Slovak corner. But Other Whistle, he's behind Erky Boy. But a lot of drivers retiring early on here in qualifying, it has to be said. As Andoni clobbering that curb there, he nearly lost the car as we had up Sklevat corner. Sets the fastest second sector by a 10th. He's now going to head into Hugenholz, brake at the 100 meter board, dip into the corner, nearly clip the curb, and then accelerate away. Try not bottom out, try not spin the wheels on the uphill, and try not lose the car. He heads into the last corner, get close to that curb on the late apex, and fly towards the line, and it's a 1.93, and he takes pole position away from Waltz. So it was a Williams. So Waltz was driving a Williams yesterday. Now the car that he was in yesterday has now snapped pole from him while he's driving the Aston Martin. Meanwhile, Andoni, so he's taken pole by just over a tenth there. We see Waltz looking for a lap. Let's see what he does on this run. We're currently on board with the Aston Martin Valkyrie in IMSA. I don't know if you can hear.
Haven't quite had the pace of the rest of the GTP field. I think it's safe to say right now that car sits 10th.
That car does sound amazing, but it is currently in 10th at the moment here in IMSA. Meanwhile, the Aston Martin Late Breakers Club car being driven by Waite. I've just figured out that's an I, not an L. Apologies. Waite's going quicker on this lap. He only needs just under a tenth of a second to take the pole time. Just over a tenth of a second, should I say. And he is going to head up that corner, which is very tough on the rear tyres. But he heads through it fine. He sets a purple sector 2 and goes 2 tenths quicker. That's enough to take the pole from Andoni. Bit of a lock up there into the Hugenholz corner. Round into Tarzan corner, which is this corner here, the last bend on the track. Accelerates away, get as close to the grass as you can, and blast towards the line. He sets a 1:9.1, 3 tenths quicker than his nearest rival. Massive there, as the Aston Martin, what a lap, as meanwhile his teammate Jamie currently on a lap as well. I think Reiser just went up the order. I think, yeah, he did. Reiser up the order 3 tenths quicker than his previous time. So that's a 1:10.2. Becomes the best of the people who aren't on the podium in that Japanese Grand Prix Haas. Meanwhile, Jamie heading round. It looks like he's on an in lap as he's not going full pace. We have Jones heading through as we have the Cadillac battling the Acura in the IMSA 24-hour Daytona, and there's drama here as the Aston Martin here in Late Breakers Club going very slow on the pit entry. Looks like he ran out of fuel. The Acura number 93 car in IMSA Daytona losing the position to the Cadillac. So it's the Cadillac in P3, and then it's the Acura of Renger van der Zande in P4. Meanwhile, we have Reiser into the pits in the Ollie Behrman helmet. Me as well, being an Ollie Behrman fan, is great to see. Meanwhile, Swayzer ending an outlap. We have, let's see, hang on a minute. We have Arimas, I think, on a lap. Yes, he is. He's 2 tenths quicker as well. This could be a big lap for Arimas. He could potentially get P2 depending on how this last sector is going to go. He's going to go out of Tarzan corner, get right up close to the grass, and go over the line. Just missing out on P2 by 0.06 of a second. That is close, but that does show he has the pace to accomplish at least P2, potentially P1, depending on where he can find those 3 tenths, if he knows it or not. So we have PJ Hyatt in the pits in LMP2 for the IMSA 24-hour Daytona race. Oh, the Corvette defending from the Mustang in GTD Pro. Meanwhile, we have Swayzer heading around Tarzan Bend, a 10th up on his lap so far. That could put him ahead of Jones if he can find another 10th. Will he find it? Yes, he will. He gets ahead of Jones by exactly a 10th of a second. Meanwhile, one of the Acuras going around the outside of its teammate. So the 93 Acura losing the place to the number 60 Acura in the IMSA Daytona 24-hour. So we head through. We have Watson there. As we have Watson going over the line, and he gets ahead of Jamie with a 1:10.7. As we have a look here, we have one of the Williams ending an outlap, it looks like. No, he's coming in the pits. We have a Ferrari ending an outlap, that is Cardelf. As we head around. Head through then. FGE, Watson, nearly spinning over the grass there. We have Jamie. Whoa, Jamie nearly lost the car then. I don't think I was the only one who saw that. The car started to dart to the side. Luckily it gripped up in time before any major damage was done. As we have into Tarzan corner. As he goes a bit quicker, 19 thousandths quicker, but he does have consistency. He just needs a little bit more pace to keep up with Watson and Jones, and that battle for the midfield that's brewing here in qualifying. His teammate is triggering yellow flags. I think there's random yellow flags being triggered for some reason, which isn't exactly the best. Meanwhile, we have a V-carb going slowly on the minimap, letting cars through, trying to space itself out so that when it pushes on a lap it doesn't come up behind any cars, which will get in the way. Cardelf running the Brad Pitt helmet. Can this lap be a work of cinema? He heads over the line and he goes to P4 just behind his teammate. 2/10 quicker, a 1:10.1 goes the best of the rest outside the podium. We have Swayzer, was that? No, not Swayzer. Andoni heading over the line. We have Waltz currently on a lap, a 10th up. He's extending his margin over the rest of the field. Could we potentially see a 1 minute 8.9 or quicker here in this qualifying session at Zandvoort Reverse? He's running the purple Lewis Hamilton 2020 helmet. Will he show the same dominance? It looks like it, because he's just set another purple second sector. So the purple helmet set in the purple times at the moment. He locks up into the third last corner, the Hugenholz corner. I've seen him look up a couple times into that corner as weights. He could be put on the closing shift. He's very good at locking up as he heads over the line. And he sets a 1 minute 8.8. Just out of the blue. That is a terrible. Can Andoni, yes I said it, heading around Tarzan corners. Cardelf is out. Cardelf has retired from the session in the pit lane. As now for the end of quali, Andoni misses out on pole position. He improves, but not by enough. Next up is the other Aston Martin of Jamie, who improves by 2/10. Not enough to improve a position, but he stays 9th, but has a faster time to represent for it. We have Jones now coming up to the line in the V-carb, and he goes up into 5th ahead of Swayzer. Arimas now at the last corner. He's a 10th down, and doesn't look like he's going to set a better time. He's P3, but he's not close enough to get ahead of Andoni by the slightest of margins, by 7 thousandths, as Swayzer gets back ahead of Jones in the Williams. The only person we're waiting on now is Ryder in the Ollie Behrman helmet and in the Japanese Grand Prix liveried Haas. But it doesn't look like he's up at the moment. The telemetry is saying that he's a couple tenths down. Is it right? He's set a 1:10.2, it looks like. Yep, P5 for Ryder, just behind the 2 Ferraris. So good race, or good qualifying at the moment. 3/10 separating weights from everyone else. As 7 thousandths separating. No, not 7 thousandths. 13 thousandths, should I say? I've done the maths now. 13 thousandths separating second place from third place. So Andoni and Arimas, I'm expecting pretty good battles from them. Also, 600 separating Riser from Card Elf as well. So very fine margins here in this qualifying session. So, we're just waiting for the race to start. We're due to start at 8:30 UK time, so in 7 minutes now. It's currently 8:23. We're meant to go at 8:30. So, 7 minutes before we get ready for the formation lap, if I'm not mistaken. No, it's not the formation lap. It's just straight into the race, I think. We'll find out in 7 minutes, hopefully. There's the Aston Martin in GTP in IMSA, the Valkyrie in 10th, ahead of the Welling Cadillac. Not too sure what's happened to the Welling Cadillac, but it looks like it's lost a lot of time, or maybe even DNF'd, but I must have missed that. It's a big battle between Chevy and Corvette. There's also a battle between the number 60 Acura versus the blue Cadillac, number 10. And that's the battle for P3. That's the battle for the best of the rest slot, behind the Penske Porsche 2, as into the Eastern Horseshoe for the Cadillac. For those who aren't watching the IMSA Rolex 24 at Daytona, I highly recommend it. Is, at least according to the start, according to last year's version, it is a great watch for, especially in LMP2, GTP, and even the GT3 categories as well. It is a good watch. You don't have to watch all of it, but just checking in on it every so often as a casual viewer, or being like I am, a big enthusiast, it is something to recommend. Also, we had Rally Monte Carlo recently as well, with Elvin Evans and Seb Ogier being kind of leapfrogged by Solberg, the Swedish man, in his debut. So that's interesting. PJ Hyatt still leading in LMP2 in IMSA in GTP. Any predictions in Twitch chat? Oh, hello. Swayzer, I didn't see that. Swayzer saying that he's gutted. He made a mistake, costing him a 1/10 of a second. If he had kept it clean, he was looking at P4. So that would have been ahead of one of the Ferrari cars. Ahead of Card Elf, it would have been ahead of. So that would have been great. But sadly, it's not meant to be. Hopefully, the race can see the best of Swayzer in this session. It was pretty quick in the Raging Bulls race yesterday, so let's see if he can improve on the form from yesterday's race and finish his weekend off strong here at Zandvoort in the Riverside Racing tip. As the Corvette in IMSA dealing with traffic, all the Valkyrie going wide. The Valkyrie closing on people in GTP. Let's go. It's currently ahead of one of the BMWs, I think, so it might be in P9. I'm gonna wait for the timing thing to tell me. I'm a big fan of the Aston Martin Valkyrie. The sound of it, beautiful. It's British made. I'm I'm always rooting for British brands such as Ollie Bearman and Aston Martin and things like that. See, so BMW P6 at the moment. We have the number 40 Wayne Taylor Racing Cadillac in P7. JDC Miller 85 Porsche in P8. 24 BMW. No, the Aston Martin. The Aston Martin's just got ahead of the BMW. Let's go. So the Aston Martin in P9 in GTP in the Valkyrie. Yeah, that was huge crashes early on in the 24-hour Daytona race, with LMP2 having a massive crash in turn 1, taking out several cars. And then we had a spin in GTP for the BMW, so the prototype class, the hypercars. BMW spun, and then GTD actually didn't really have a lot of chaos. Though I think there might have been a spinner or two, but not a lot of chaos. That was until the number 28 Porsche crashed, and now at the same corner the Porsche crashed, there's a Mercedes backwards. The number 75 Mercedes in GTD is backwards, and he's the leader in the GTD AM class. Has he lost any positions? No, it's the 75, not the 57 actually. Take that back. But the 75, as the Porsches are side by side, Penske Porsches in the hypercar GTP class. Nearly contact. And it's Estra in front of NASA. Yeah, it is Estra ahead of NASA. Incredible. No, it's NASA ahead of Estra, should I say? So NASA overtakes Estra. Interesting. So a lot of moves being made here in IMSA in the 24-hour race. We're due to start Late Breakers Club in about a minute or two. We'll see when we're about to start, because there'll be a timer for 30 seconds counting down. It's the number 6 Kevin Astra in GTP battling away, but the Mercedes number 75, I'm not too sure what happened to the Mercedes, but he was just parked on the inside of turn 1 on the grass. Speaking of turn 1, it's not the first time there's been a GT car in the walls at turn 1 in GTD, as we have had the number 28 car spin into the inside wall that separates the pit entry from the track. He spun into the tyres there, ripped off its front tyre, and within about 12 minutes we had 2 full course cautions. Well, it's a very chaotic start, but it looks like it's all settled down now. But there has been a spin for the Mercedes at turn 1, where the Porsche Penske car's going through now in hypercar. Let's have a look. The Mercedes has picked up too late. Just came back on track. Here we go then. 5 lights on here for the Late Breakers Club at backwards Zandvoort. We're away. We're accelerating away from Tarzan Corner and into the banking. And who is going to come out safe and sound? We head through turn 1. And the top 5 make it through okay. They're side by side with the Aston Martin. They're side by side with the Williams as well. Swater looking to make up redemption after his mistake in qualifying. He's now got a Sauber on the outside of him. Great stuff by Riser to get ahead of Cardelf. He's side by side looking for the move. As we look from behind on the Haas, and he is going to head into Botch 10 and keep the position as they all head round one of the longest corners on the track, as Eagle makes contact with Erky Boy. Meanwhile, Riser does get ahead of the Ferrari, and now they all follow the Ferrari looking to have a go at him, as there's Eagle round, and it looks like more misery added to his weekend after the Raging Bulls race ended early for him. Looks like it's going to be the same thing happening here in the Riverside Racing tier, as down the inside for the V car. Very punchy move by the Silent Assassin, by Jones, should I say. Silent Assassin holding up a bit of a train with Erky Boy, and actually Silent Assassin has wing damage. Not too sure what's happened there. So, looks like there's a safety car. Safety car, not too sure why. That's because Eagle has DNF'd. So Eagle DNFs, and there is a virtual safety car, so a full course caution. And racing comes to a slowdown. No one's allowed to overtake. They all have to keep the gaps relatively the same. Great start by the Haas here of Riser, very punchy. Also Swazer really looking to make a move, but then he almost got caught out by Watson trying to make a move on him. As we're green, full course caution aborted, and immediately there's a move as Jones goes straight down the inside of Jamie. Jamie doesn't have it, goes back down the inside, but can he now keep it ahead of the V-Cubs? They head around, nearly making contact. They both get loose as they head up Sklavat corner. Jones ahead of Jamie. Great restart by the V-Carb driver. We look from behind. But very, very punchy on the restart by the V-Carb driver of Jones. Meanwhile, we have the Williams of Swazer looking to make amends for qualifying as we head into turn 1 as Eagle leaves the session. He is done for the day. Meanwhile, we have the Williams of Andonai, should I say? No, it is Andonai, should I say? So that's the fastest first sector time of the entire race so far. Meanwhile, we have the Ferrari here, weaving through the botch section as we head up the hill with the Ferrari of Arimas over the grass there. They all head through. Looks like they've all spaced out quite nicely here in the Riverside tier. So they all head out of the Hugenholz section and into the Tarzan corner, which is the last corner of the track. We're going to cut to the Williams here, see if he can make a move heading into turn 1. DRS is enabled. Actually, is it? No, it's... I can't tell if it is or not. So we have the last thing coming through. I don't think it is enabled because it was... I'm not too sure. We'll have to check with that one on the next lap. So we see this beautiful camera angle from very high up on the track, this helicopter view. Demonstrate, and DRS is enabled because look, the Williams... I thought it was open. It looks like it was open, then they braked. Meanwhile, the other Ferraris defending from the other Williams. Swazer looking for a move on Card Elf. So while one Ferrari is trying to attack a Williams, the other Ferrari is trying to defend from the other one. Round into Sklavat corner, the rising uphill corner, which catches a lot of people out on this outside grass on the right hand side. As we go over the shoulder of Swazer as he tries to catch the Card Elf Ferrari. As we head through on the Brad Pitt helmet Ferrari. As I think, did Sauber just spin? Yes, it did. And did he get wing damage? DRS is enabled, so my confusion from earlier has been resolved. But the Sauber of Watson losing the car slightly there. Meanwhile, we have Waltz trying to catch up. Oh no, we have Waits making a mistake. And we have the Williams of Andonai looking to the outside of Botch 9. Is he going to make the move stick? We're going to go on board with the Duracell Williams. And he's not made the move, heading into Botch 9. Heading round and into the Sklavat corner, this uphill corner. We're back on board with the Williams. The closest battle on track currently, according to the telemetry. As we head into the next corner, we have a yellow flag triggered. Doesn't look like a lot's happened. No, something has happened. Watson has had a crash with one of the Williams cars. That's Swazer. Swazer and Watson have had a crash on the top of Sklavat. And that is a big shunt. Somehow no safety car. They both keep going, but drama here in the Riverside Racing tier in Late Breakers Club. 30 laps to go, and we have the Williams trying to catch two. Waits. Oh, he nearly goes into the back of the Aston Martin. As out of the race for Watson, he's called it a day. Let's see if Swayzer does the same thing. Meanwhile, Swayzer's teammate currently trying to fight for the lead of the race. There's a battle. I'm just looking at the IMSA race, and there's currently a battle going on between the Ford Mustang and the Chevy. The Mustang trying to catch the Chevy in Daytona. Meanwhile, here at Zandvoort, drama between Watson and Swayzer. Not too sure what happened now. I'll have to get some footage on that. I might commentate on that later on the channel, so keep an eye out on the YouTube as I might commentate and give my thoughts on whatever happened between them two. As they head round the Tarzan bend, I'm also going to do the commentary on the theatre mode from yesterday's race in the Raging Bulls tier, which was done yesterday, so on the 23rd of January. Meanwhile, we're going to go on board with the Ferrari. I need to sort these camera angles out, so join me on Twitch later on. Actually, on this stream, after this commentary, you can join me and help me out with my camera settings and give me recommendations on what each one should look like. I'm going to try and do TV pod offset as a broadcast, as that is the one that is currently on here, and then I'm going to do the normal TV pod. Well, to be fair, normal TV pod is fine, it's just the TV pod offset, which is the one that's being used on the broadcast. It isn't great with the weird lines for the airbox. Especially not on the Aston Martin. I'm going to look from behind on the Aston Martin. The lead is the closest about on track, and Swayzer's off on the exit of the second to last corner. He's off, and he just before the stadium section, and he's round again. Those rear tyres are really overheated, and he is spinning and losing time, doing a nice drift. The fans at the stadium section loving that, as over the grass for Swayzer's teammate Andoni, as Jamie in the pits, as a round again for Swayzer at this time at botch 10, so the third time he's spun this lap. Meanwhile, we head up the order, and hard tyres for the number 25 of Jamie in the British Aston Martin. Meanwhile, the Milton Keynes Red Bull losing the car twice on the exit of the stadium section. That place is very treacherous when it comes to traction, but luckily no major issues, as Swayzer getting out of the way of his teammate and nearly spinning in doing so. I think he just did spin, didn't he? He might have done. Also thought I just saw the Red Bull spin as well. So we head round. It's looking very chilled out at the moment. I don't want to speak too soon, but the race here in Late Breakers Club compared to IMSA in Daytona, it's a lot more. It's a lot less chaotic. As Swayzer out of the race, he called it a day. He tried to keep going, but after overheating those tyres and whatever happened with Watson, and also in the spins as well, turned out to not be his day here in Zandvoort. We have the McLaren defending from the Red Bull. He's on the inside, but the Red Bull with DRS gets through just before the banking, and whoa, what happens there? Did the Red Bull just understeer or something? I'm not too sure, but he braked very suddenly, and the McLaren goes back down the inside, heading round the banking. That was very odd for the Red Bull, I must say so myself. As we head down the straight then, we have a Williams going slow, and that is the retiring car of Swayzer. Should be ghosted, hopefully. Meanwhile, the Ferrari catching up to the Williams here. So, Andonias, meanwhile, change of position here as Jones gets ahead of Cardelf. And that must have been coming out of that, as well as, meanwhile, into the pits for Andoni. Let's see what tyres he goes on. He pits off the medium tyres, and this could be either another set of mediums or potentially hards. And the hard tyres were very quick around here. I found out in yesterday's race, as a driver, I was driving in Haas, and I found out that the hard tyres were just as quick, if not quicker, than the medium tyres. Lots of cars pitting, as we have Card Elf and Erky Boy also pitting. But I found out that I could very much stay with this man, Waits. I could keep up on his pace when he was on mediums and I was on hards. But the other way around, I couldn't do the same thing. It was almost the opposite effect. So the mediums seem slower than the hard tyres around here. So that'll be something to consider. Most of the drivers here started on the medium tyres. Jamie has overcut Erky Boy. So that's a great strategy from him. Jamie, very good at strategy, as Erky Boy goes right off, takes out the brake marker boards. That might affect people who don't use the racing line graphic in the F1 game as an assist. For me, I don't use that, but for other people, I know. Whoa, big lock up into the pits for Waits. He goes into the pits. Arimas leads here on lap 11, ahead of Riser now, as hard tyres for the number 25 Aston Martin, so another Aston Martin with 25 on it. So does Waits come out ahead of the Williams? It might be tight, you know. That's coming down the straight. There is the Aston Martin. Will the Williams be able to catch it? He's on hotter tyres, remember, so he'll have more grip heading around turn 1, potentially. He heads round, he's right on the back, but he's not able to get ahead. As we head round, just careful under traction, as 3/10 separating them. I've just seen in chat, so Swayzer, who is this William man's teammate, he's saying that there was no contact with Watson in the Sauber, as he just spun under dirty air, then the curb, then hit the curb after the banking, so after the Scravac corner, and then spun and went backwards into the wall, causing rear wing damage, and that's why he was spinning so much on the lap before he retired. So Swayzer with rear wing damage. Meanwhile, Riser and Arimas both in the pits, picking from mediums to hards, it looks like. Jones takes the lead as Waits comes out of the pits way ahead. Arimas has lost a lot of time by staying out one more lap, as it looks like there's the Red Bull now ahead of Riser now. But this battle for the net race lead is heating up. Thanks, Swayzer. There's drama in Daytona for the Ferrari. Number 62, Ricci Competizione, has damaged its suspension. So drama in Daytona for the GTD Pro Ferrari, number 62. Meanwhile, the number 2, Williams, looking to make a move on the Aston Martin. Will it be done? As he heads into Hugenholz, this is one of the toughest circuits on this game's calendar to make an overtake, as you're very much relying on either DRS on the front straight or a mistake in the squiggly sections. As he hits the curb, that might loosen the car up on the exit, and it does. The Aston getting away slightly. Jones heads into the pits. This has now become the battle for the actual race lead. Will the Williams be able to make a move? Not for now. He's braking, heading around turn 2 into the stadium section now. Meanwhile, we're going to cut to Riser, who is currently defending from the white Red Bull of the other whistle, as there's a spin for Silent Assassin at the corner where he DNF'd yesterday. As meanwhile, we have the Williams ahead of the behind the Aston Martin, should I say, heading around the Botch 9 corner. And then heading around this corner with this treacherous curb. He avoids it, and then heading up this corner known as Sclavat. It's now into the run to Hugenholz, past Logan Sargent's graveyard. And now into Hugenholz, dip into the bowl, and then climb out up the hill. is that the exit to the Hugenholz corner on this layout is very similar to turn 8 at the Portugal circuit in Portimao. Is the and the Ferrari and GT, by the way, in the Daytona, driving on. Wow, there's a big hazard there being caused, I must say. He's driving down the straight with a tyre flicking all over the shop, and that is a full course yellow in Daytona. Meanwhile, there's a yellow walled medium tyre car on the V-carb, passing the Red Bull. So the Racing Bulls passes the Red Bull. Meanwhile, the red Ferrari looking for a move. And will he get it? Not into the stadium, or maybe as the Red Bull goes wide. That's going to set him up badly for this corner, and he's now on the grass. Will there be a move made? Closest battle on track, according to the telemetry, should I say? As the 25 Ferrari gets ahead of the Red Bull, who is struggling for pace on those hard tyres. We have the Williams now dipping into the bowl of Hugenholz, heading out, and then into Tarzan corner. He just manages to not loosen the car up over that curb as he heads down. He's 6/10 away. He is closing in this section, but it's just not enough to make a significant move into a corner, as they're both off. Or are they? Oh no, that was lag. They both went into the gravel there. On my screen is very deep for Andoni, but as the Ferrari in the Daytona 24-hour race is currently pulled over, being recovered. The Red Bull on the whistle is in the pits and on the red soft tyres. Big gamble here, so that probably confirms that. Oh no, he's on medium tyres, should I say? It was the. Who was on the softs? Ah, it was the V-carb. So Silent Assassin. So he's probably. So that probably says that Silent Assassin's definitely on a 2-stop. The Red Bull, I reckon he could be on a 2-stop. He could be pitting from those mediums back onto another set of hards later on in the race. Or maybe another set of mediums, depending on how good his tyre saving is. Battle for the lead settling down. Meanwhile, Jones in the 69 V-carb losing the car a little bit there on the exit of Hugenholz. As and in the Daytona 24-hour race, looks like there's a bit of debris on the track just on the exit of the Western Horseshoe. It looked like a polystyrene board had been hit or something like that. Very interesting indeed. In Daytona, as another DM by Swayzer. Yeah, so it was with the crash with Swayzer. Just got extra confirmation. Meanwhile, the Williams trying to make gains on the Aston Martin, but not doing so. Jones is making more gains on his Haas. 2 white cars, 1 American, 1 Italian, both closing up this battle for P4, the closest battle on track at the moment. We have 20 laps to go in this race. Now 19 laps to go in this race. And it looks like the next move made will be in Jones trying to make a move on Riser in the Haas. We head into the banking of turn 1. And he's getting very close, within 2/10 of Riser. But not close enough to make a move into a corner as fast as turn 2 on this layout. And he's now going to lose a lot of time as he was slipping and sliding as if he was doing dancing on ice on the exit of the stadium section and heading around the botch S's. The 69 V-carb looking very unstable. He's drifting that car around at the moment as if he's in the Monte Carlo rally that's just happened, that's going on at the moment. We head through. We have so it's an actual full safety car in IMSA in the WeatherTech 24 Hours of Daytona. Let's have a look then. So let's have a look at what happened in... Oh, there's a big spin in GTD in the IMSA Championship in the 24-hour race. What happened there? Oh, the Ferrari. So it spun across the entire track, knocked into another car. So that's where the debris came from. There's a big shunt. The V-Carb number 69 has collided with Riser, and they are both out. Where's Riser? He's all the way there. That's a huge shunt. I was watching IMSA because there was a huge shunt in that, and then I look up and I see two cars absolutely ruined, and they have turned their F1 cars into piles of scrap. What an absolute dramatic moment in this race. The battle for P4 has turned into nothing now. Well, it's turned into a safety car for the rest of these drivers. 8 cars left in this race out of the 13 that started. Absolute drama. Drama that even Emmerdale wouldn't be able to to top. And there was a big car crash in the Coronation Street and Emmerdale collaboration, but I don't think it was as big as that crash between Riser and Jones. Anyway, into the pits. It's a no-brainer to pit now. Most of these drivers are probably going to pit onto either mediums or softs. It is another set of the hard tyres. So what weight on the harder tyre allocation? Very smart by him. Looks like, what's the Williams on? I can't tell. What tyres is he on? Are they hards as well? They're mediums. New set of mediums. New set of hards for Arimas. The other Ferrari hasn't finished his pit yet. Silent Assassin, currently a lap down now. Oh no, he's a minute behind, so he might not be a lap down. No, he is. He's a lap down, so that's pretty much his race confirmed in P8 or wherever the last of the finishing runners will be. But yeah, his teammate, Silent Assassin's teammate, involved in a huge jump. Not too sure what happened there, but it looks like they've probably gone side by side and then made contact on the banking, which may explain the damage. Big shunt there between Jones and Riser, I must say. I'm going to just have a look on my stream and try and catch what happens. So bear with. Yeah, we're currently in safety car. I guess while we're in safety car, I may as well do a bit of promotion for other things that I am a part of. So if you want to hear me on a radio station, you can do Fridays from 12 PM until 2 PM on the Ocean City Radio. So if you want to request a song for that, let me know. I do host my own radio show on Ocean City Radio, 12 PM until 2 PM. I'm also commentating a Brit car at Donington Park. It's the Brit Car Endurance Championship at Donington Park. I'm going to be commentating there on the 21st of March in Derby. So if you want to watch that, it should be streamed on YouTube, on the BARC YouTube channel. So if you want to catch me commentating there, you can do. Anyway, let me try and find this crash then. Let's rewatch what happened. Well, at least for... Oh god, I'll retell you the story of how this safety car was brought out. Let me see. Very lucky that I was that my camera was tabbed onto Jones before that crash happened, because otherwise I wouldn't have even known until they had actually made contact. So lap 20 out of 36. That's where it is. So let's see. The V-carb goes down the inside, and then the V-carb goes on up to the high side, and that is a monstrous shunt between the pair of them. That's going on the YouTube channel, because that is one of the most dramatic crashes that Drive to Survive won't be able to put on. That's something that even the F1 movie couldn't even do well. That was a big shunt. That was definitely a bigger crash than the Coronation Street Emmerdale collab car crash. That was massive. So yeah, oh, a green flag. I didn't even realise because I'm trying to sort this crash thing out. Anyway, so we're back on. Looks like they're all still spaced out though. Not a lot of side by side. There is side by side between Aston Martin and Jamie, who's looking for a move on the other whistle. Top 7 all on the lead lap. The man in 8th, Silent Assassin, currently a lap down. That's why he's ghosted. The Aston is Silent Assassin trying to unlap himself, but the top 4 getting away from the bottom 4 very quickly. Or the bottom 3, should I say. Getting away very quickly. So we head out of Hugenholz. Still a battle, but no, it's just the unlapping thing. But look, great exit by the Williams out of the Tarzan corner. Will he be able to make a move on weights here? He hasn't been able to do so for the whole race, but he has got very close. But he just needs to stay that close on the next lap to make a move with DRS. But that was very close, and if he can stay like that, he will be great. Over the gravel, over the curb. He's going to lose a bit of time doing that. DRS open. Look from behind on the Aston Martin. Let's see what will happen. Not a lot happening at the moment. They all seem very well behaved. In the field, Erky Boy looks like he's pit. As he's also the only person in the race currently with a penalty. Into Hugenholz, another big lock-up by the Aston Martin awaits. He should definitely be put on a closing shift at his next job, because he can lock up very well. As he locks up a lot, at least anyway. He's the man keeping locksmiths in business. As we head round turn 1. No big crashes this time round. Lap 23. 13 laps to go. And it looks like it's going to be a battle between the Aston and the Williams, getting within millimetres of each other. That was very close. We're looking at the Aston, who is under attack from the blue Williams. The Williams doesn't make a move as he heads into the botch S's. And Donai heading out of the botch 9 corner. Then around into Sklavak corner, up the hill. Is he able to stay close? He clips the grass on the inside of the corner. Heading into Hugenholz. The Aston Martin again locks up into Hugenholz. Consistency is key, but not in that respect. His tyres must be screaming with the amount of lockups he's doing. Into that corner, we have Andonai getting out of Tarzan corner. He lost a bit of time compared to Waits though, so we might not be able to get him heading into turn 1. He needs to be just under 4/10, I'd say, to be able to make a proper challenge. As we head through. Head into the stadium section, the closest battle on track according to telemetry. Arimas watching all of this from a bit further away now, but he was watching all of this, licking his lips, looking to maybe capitalise on a mistake. I thought that was a battle there, but nope. But the Red Bull and the Aston Martin of Jamie Getting very close. Just watching the Williams here is currently still full course yellow in IMSA. I'm not too sure if there's been a crash or something, or if it's just the same safety car, I'm not too sure. We head through into the Hugenholz corner. Another lockup by Waits. This man keeping locksmiths in business with the amount of lockups he's doing. So we head out as Andoni heading into the banking again. Is he gonna make a move again? We look from behind on the Aston Martin, and the Williams gets nowhere near a move, and he goes wide as well. Let's have a ride on board with the Ferrari, as he is now looking for a move on the Williams, who goes a bit wide. Nothing made of it. As off the Red Bull Silent Assassin, he's in the wall, and it's a safety car again. With just over 10 laps to go, another safety car is called for Silent Assassin crashing out of the race. He looks like he's crashed at the banking, just like his teammate did, but this time that was all on his own. 7 cars left out of the 13 that started, with 10 laps to go. Meanwhile in IMSA we have the Porsche. Julian Anlauer leading, as it looks like I don't know where the other Porsche's gone. The GTP Porsche's just, oh no, he's in 11th. Looks like he might have made a pit stop or gone off, I'm not too sure. But yeah, it's been a great race so far. Right, massive strategy plays here. Waits staying out. Andoni sacrifices track position to pit onto. Are they soft tyres? Are they hard tyres? Very interesting by Andoni. So he sacrifices track position to use hard tyres for the last 10 laps of the race. Will that work? Will he be able to use enough grip out of those tyres, or will he be able to save enough traction out of those tyres to not cause a loss of grip for when he's battling further up the field? Very bad strategy here. It's Erky Boy in the pits serving a penalty, and his penalty ends in a minute or two. Now it ends. He now comes out on soft tyres. Very surprised that, surprised they didn't do medium tyres then, because the degradation around this circuit is quite mental. We have the Ferraris, double podium for the Ferraris at the moment as well. Right, well, this safety car isn't ending, but the one in the Daytona 24 Hours is ending. So I'm going to cover that for a minute or two. We have the Porsche leading, the Porsche Penske number 7 ahead of the number 10 Cadillac. As we head into turn 1, the GTPs heading around turn 1, lock up there for the number 60 Acura. Side by side with the BMW and the Aston Martin Valkyrie. Who's going to come out ahead out of those two? I hope it's the Valkyrie. As round the outside for the Acura at the Western Horseshoe. The Eastern Horseshoe, should I say. And the Acura doesn't get the move, or does he? He's side by side with the Cadillac, and the Cadillac loses the place to Palou. Alex Palou in the Acura gets ahead of the Cadillac. Incredible. Meanwhile, in Late Breakers Club, we have the Red Bull and Jamie both in the pits. As there's a spin. That's an LMP2 car in Daytona. That is the CrowdStrike number 4 again spinning. He spun once in this race already after picking up damage in the turn 1 melee early on, and he is now spun again. Great stuff by Alex Palou, although Ricky Taylor, has he got him back? No, that is Palou in second. What happened to the... Oh, big spin. It looks like he locked the rear tyres, did the LMP2 car. Locks the rear tyres just completely. Yeah, locks the rears. He tries to go for a move on the inside and just lock the rears, similar to the Porsche earlier on in GTD. So that's a shame for the Orica IMSA car. They will go flying through the Aston Martin, currently in P9. That's been its most common place in this race so far. Meanwhile, oh, and there's a Porsche GTD car, is that the 123 car, smoking at the rear. Looks like it's got a puncture. So the Porsche with a puncture, a lot of smoke coming out of that Porsche. So that's Dave Musial Jr., should I say, smoking at IMSA. Meanwhile, the Aston Martin awaits, has gone early at this safety car restart, and for the last 8 laps of this race, we are underway, and that is a big gap between Arimas and Waits. On board with Andona, he picked up 2 places when Other Whistle and the Aston Martin of Jamie both went in the pits, and that has really helped out. So now the Williams only has to pass the 2 Ferraris before he can use those tyres to catch up to Waits and potentially make a move. So we head into the Botch S's. Yellow flag, oh no, that's just the graphic being silly. So we head through out of the Botch S's for the Late Breakers Club field, and out of the Le Mans chicane for the Daytona IMSA field in GTP. Heading out of Slovak corner is a move going to be made by Andonai. He's looking very close to maybe sending a move, but no, thinks better of it as heads through as oh, Jamie and Erky Boy both off on the exit of Hugenholz. They've both made contact, the 2 men who pitted earlier on. Now one of them doesn't pit, the other one does pit, but they have collided. Another piece of drama to add to the mad drama highlight reel in this backwards Zandvoort race, as there's a tyre in the middle of the track in Daytona, and there's a move on the outside being made by the Lexus. The Lexus in GTD Pro looking to make a move on one of the Porsches. That's one of the Manti Porsches. Meanwhile, heading round the Botch S's with the Williams of Andonai looking to get past the Cardell Ferrari. So the number 2 Williams trying to catch up to the number 9 Sonny Hayes helmet of the Ferrari. The Ferrari itself is number 25, and there's a spin for the Aston Martin, and he is climbing up the beach in the Zandvoort. Meanwhile, his teammate is 2 or 3 places ahead of this battle between the Williams and the Ferrari. This is the battle for the podium here in the Riverside Racing tier. So will a move be made heading into the banking? 6 laps to go, and to the outside, and is it to a place higher up? No, but the Jamie spun at the Botch S's again. Lock up for the Ferrari. Number 25 car going deep. Heading into the Botch S's, the Red Bull does pit, so Other Whistle does jump into the pits a lap after his disaster with Jamie on the exit of Hugenholz. We head out of the Botch S's, and Andonai ahead of, behind Cardell, should I say. And bit of a touch of the grass there, nearly a spin for Cardell. Really nearly losing the car and spinning out of Slovak corner. Heading now down, and there's a yellow flag. But, oh no, that's for the Aston Martin, who's now just been lapped by his own teammate. And he's now on mowing the lawn, he's doing all sorts. As meanwhile the Williams now, and has that given, no it hasn't given the Ferrari DRS, and the Ferrari definitely needed it, because Andonai gets ahead of Cardell. Now the chase is on for Arimas, with 5 laps to go. You might be able to get Arimas as a legal overtake because of the yellow flag for the Aston Martin. He's just been let through, although the Ferrari now having to defend he gets a bit skittish out of the stadium section into the bot chassis now, and we're driving through the mad countryside area of Zandvoort, going just accelerating away from that lake in the background. Now going up the Sklevat corner, the closest battle on track, with 5 laps to go in this race, as heading into Hugenholz. No moves made there. Oh, a bit of contact though, as there was battling going on in GTD between a BMW and I think that was a Lexus heading through the Le Mans chicane. And as you just saw there, the Williams of Andonai getting very close to Cardelf. But now is he going to finally make the move? No, he's not going to make it. He's not going to... This gamble onto the hard tyres looks like he's going to cost him a position. He was P2, now it looks like he's barely going to get P3 as the Ferrari gets a bit squirmy out of the stadium section. On the outside of the bot chassis, contact between the 25 Ferrari and the number 2 Williams. Will the Ferrari be able to hang on? He's trying it, you know. Is he going to make the move? Is the Williams going to let him have it? He nearly runs him onto the grass, but the Ferrari gets back through. Oh, no, he doesn't. Cardelf gets rammed into by the Williams of Andonai. Blasting now towards Hugenholz. The Williams does get ahead and pulls a gap now, heading into the banking at the Hugenholz corner. So head through. As the Williams trying to break the toe from the Ferrari of Cardelf, who has DRS and is catching at a rate of knots. Looks like he's on less downforce than the Williams, because that Ferrari is struggling in the corners, but on the straights you saw it just caught up like a bullet. About 2 or 3 tenths to the Williams, I must say. There's 3 laps to go in this race, but don't go anywhere because I'll be covering IMSA while sorting out my onboard camera settings to remove the weird lines you're seeing at the bottom of the screen on the Williams, on the Ferrari, on the Aston Martin, and not on the Red Bull. Actually, the Red Bull's okay. The McLaren, however, they're still aligned on that one as well, so I'm going to sort these camera settings out, and you can help me out with them on the next Twitch stream, and I'll upload it to YouTube as well. Any recommendations I'll be glad to have, because I haven't played at F1 25 as much as I've played 23 and 24, or even 22 as well. I think this is probably, I'm one of the most inexperienced on this game than I have been on any of the other games for a while now. Yeah, I've just been playing other games and doing other things instead of playing this game this year. And also I've been commentating a lot instead of driving a lot as well, which has affected my on-track performance. But it's been nice. It's taken a kind of, it's been a lot more enjoyable to do commentary, because then even if you have a bad race, it's not the worst thing in the world, and if you have a good race, it's still great. So, but when you're a driver and you have a bad race, it's awful. Like, it's really bad. When you have a good race as a driver, it's slightly better than when you have a good race as a commentator, but yeah, the bad does outweigh the good sometimes when it comes to driving. Meanwhile, in commentating, it does balance itself out a lot more. We have 2 laps to go. Make that. Yep, we have now 2 laps to go, starting from now with the Aston Martin. Meanwhile, the Williams under threat from the Brad Pitt helmet, as there's a spin for the Red Bull of Other Whistle. Other Whistle spins, and now the Aston Martin of Jamie is trying to catch up now, as the Ferrari looking to make a move on Andonai, but not making it stick. As we head through, there's also a mad battle going on in GTD. Or was that GTD Pro with Rexy in the Porsche? in a massive train of GT cars battling. It's down the inside for Cardelf and making contact with the Williams. Was that wing damage? No, it wasn't. How it wasn't, I'll never know. And he goes for it again, and that is a madly dirty move. He shoves the Williams right off track, and that could be a penalty, and Andonai is out. Andonai out of the race after being completely shoved off by the Ferrari. I'm surprised that he retired from that. I'm surprised he didn't just go to the end and try and make it a penalty. But that was an extremely aggressive, to say the least, move by the Ferrari of Cardelf. Final lap. And who else should we watch other than Waits, who has been the man of the moment on every lap here on these 36 laps. He's led every lap of this race and took pole by a stunning 3/10 over the rest of the field. And while there were some cars who were separated by under a tenth of a second, under half a tenth of a second, Waltz has been in a class of his own today. He has been the Porsche Penske of the Daytona 24 Hours, otherwise known as dominant and quick, and never really out of first place. Heading round into Sklavak corner for the 36th and final time. Waits, after a pretty decent race yesterday, battling up front and ultimately having a reasonably good race, has turned said reasonably good race, come back a day later to the exact same track, fended off the car that he was driving yesterday, and he has now won the Riverside Racing Tier Backwards Dutch Grand Prix here in the Late Breakers Club, ahead of Arimas, who looks to carry this form into tomorrow's race in Slav Talk Racing League. Then comes the potentially penalised Cardelf after his move on Andonai. Then in fourth, after difficulties earlier on, Erky Boy, after early drama, takes fourth place. Then in fifth place comes Other Whistle, who could have maybe challenged for P4, maybe even P3. But after contact with Jamie, he has lost out, and he will now come home for fifth place here in Zandvoort Reverse. That is Other Whistle over the line, and we now wait for Jamie to get over the line before we call it the end and we read the results. So it might be the end of the race, but don't go anywhere, because one, I'll read the results. Two, I'll probably do a commentary on yesterday's race in the Raging Bulls tier. I'll also be covering IMSA. Oh, and speaking of IMSA, there's been a car off in it, the Lamborghini, getting shoved off in GTD. The Dex Lamborghini getting shoved off. Meanwhile, the Aston Martin on top form, on the top step of the podium. As meanwhile in IMSA, there's down the inside for the BMW in GTP, not going to make it because of traffic. But it is Aston Martin on top, with the two Ferrari drivers either side of him on the podium. Cheers to that, my friends. As the BMW swapping places in the IMSA GTP category. The Aston Martin Valkyrie is in last in GTP. I shed it here. So we have the race winner as Waits, the fastest lap going to Arimas, and then the driver of the day is the same man who has the most overtakes and is also the cleanest driver in this race as well. The Other Whistle, after a little crash, is named the cleanest driver by the game. So that was Waits winning the Dutch Grand Prix in the Riverside tier of Late Breakers Club, winning it by 1.4 seconds over Arimas. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 retirements out of the 13 drivers who were due to try and finish this race. So that is the end of that race. Let me now sort out my camera settings on the TV pod offset. Thank you again to the what was I saying? Thank you again to Late Breakers Club. It's been a great first commentary on the job, on the I don't know, voluntary job, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, right, let's now sort our camera settings out. Let's do McLaren. We'll just do that for now. Just gonna sort the camera settings out so that on the future broadcasts it should look better. Is the Aston Martin Valkyrie, is it just been lapped by the number 6 car, or is it battling? It's battling. Ooh, the Aston Martin is battling the other car. Right. Hang on, I'm just gonna do that right. So, camera customization. That's it. Right. Right, so that's the McLaren one. We're gonna do the next one. Oh, I was meant to do interviews, wasn't I? Should I do interviews? I'll go combox and do interviews.
They didn't start great. They missed the recon lap a little late getting out there. They were sent to the back of the class, but they slowly but surely worked their way forward. And right now,
do some interviews while I do my camera customizations. Interviews on the Late Breakers Club race. Let me see. Wait, why am I loading this up? I'm doing cameras. Oh, stick drift. Red Bull looks good. Mercedes looks decent. So the Williams wants to do an interview. Ronan wants to jump into a VC after there. Alright, I'm gonna take him off for a minute. Right. Hello, so welcome. So how did that race go for everyone? Starting.
It was going pretty shit. At the back of the pack, I'm not gonna lie to you, it wasn't exactly a very fun race. That turn one, I just stayed on the outside, and like one of the other lads said, it just vacuum sealed me into the outside, and it just ruined my race. Unfortunate. It's one of them.
You sound absolutely thrilled with that result, Silent Assassin, and so you should be.
I've had some shitters. Yeah, unfortunate.
Great stuff. How about you? Wait. We'll say it about weights, and then we'll do Harry Mass in a minute. Yeah, wait. You controlled that race as if it was a PlayStation controller. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, that control is out of practice as well. I think it's like my second time driving on that track in F1 2025. I would say it was not an easy race. Basically, I was the key was to get a good qualifying, because once you get like track position, then it's very hard to overtake, as you may have seen.
Yeah.
Williams tried several times to take me, but he had a bad exit all the time, so which actually for me was good. Then it was just controlling the pace, my guys, to actually not do any mistake.
Yeah.
I think like on the last safety car restart, I think I got the Ferrari lacking a little bit, so I was able to pull actually very, very quickly ahead of DRS. And I think it was just about putting the pace, and that's it. So I would say like it's a very hard race and not very, very nice to watch, because the possibility whether leads to like basically people going off track or accidents. But yeah, it was a very difficult race from my side, even if it was one.
Yeah. It looks looks quite easy compared to how difficult it was, but yeah, it's quite a good race, I must say so myself. In terms of entertainment, it wasn't mad like chaotic, but it was enough to be a decent race. So yeah, congrats to you all. Thanks again, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna end stream. I'll catch you later stream, and goodbye. Let me